Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and what I wanted to do today was go ahead and give you a quick walk around on the Reliant Core, which is now hangar ready in 2.4, and the ship overall is actually looking really good. You can see that it's got some pretty good textures on it. It's got different item ports all over the place, and this is what I mentioned in my updates about 2.4 video. When you can see you've got different options, like this is a utility mount over here. You've got different like missile slots, you got weapon slots, etc., etc. But all in all, the ship itself just looks pretty cool, especially this cockpit area. It's sort of tinted in a way, but you can also tell that it's going to have good visibility, and we'll get in there in a minute so you can actually take a better look at that. Continuing around, we do have this. I was hoping this thing would actually have an item port on it to give us a better idea of what sort of sensor was actually attached to it, but it does not at the moment. And continuing to walk around, overall this ship just looks cool from the outside, but there's not really a ton to talk about. We've got an engine mount here. It looks like well, that's the utility mount, but that's kind of an exhaust port, probably for heat. You come around, you've got the articulated engines here. This is one of those things that should probably help you out with your overall mobility a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and get inside. And I gotta tell you, the ship's actually smaller than I expected it to be. And I don't really know why I expected it to be any bigger than it is, but it just kind of is. So it's got a cool, nice animation on the folding ramp. I'll show you that again. It kind of folds up and tucks in. It's really sharp. It kind of maximizes some of the space a little bit. And once we actually get inside, you can see up in here we actually have a component area labeled hardware panel, but this will be a place where you can come in and do some repairs if you need to. You've got a second person that can help you out with some of that type of stuff. And then over here you actually have what is going to be one of the more important aspects for this ship, the mini hauler, is going to be the locking cargo plates. Now again, mini hauler is an apt term. This isn't a ton of cargo space. Now it's more than like an Avenger Titan, or it's more than, like an Aurora or something like that. And it is internal storage as opposed to like an Aurora carrying a store-all box. But it is pretty limited in the space overall. And you can tell just by, knowing what we know about the other variants, it's going to be tight quarters when you start adding in like a weapons station on the Tana, or the science station on the Sen. There's different things that are going to be taking up space in here, and I think it's going to be pretty tight quarters. So I would expect to see like living stations here, workstations here, and just this little walkway through the middle. You also have the straps on the side like we see on some of the other ships, so hopefully you can kind of have a way to bungee some equipment or other things on there to maximize the space. Space fire extinguisher, always important. And then coming up here we have more access points, so components, repairs, overclocking, all of those sorts of things. You've got 4 different areas right here, and that's obviously going to be pretty important. And one of those things that's really going to help you out, since you can obviously have 2 people in the Reliant, somebody can come and fix your ship while you try and fly out of trouble. And then last but not least, looking at the the cockpit, you can see here that it's got the cockpit chairs are actually attached to this articulated I guess kind of rotating mount, so as this ship goes from vertical to horizontal orientation, it can keep you upright in your seat. And both of those seats are in that formation. And then let's go ahead and get in here for the last thing we do on this video, and I want to show you the cockpit visibility, which is phenomenal. Down, left, up, all that good stuff. You can see pretty much everything in this ship, and I think once you're actually centered down the center line, I think these 2 bars are actually going to be a little problematic. I think it's going to be kind of like we've seen on the GN Scout, where those bars are in your way a little bit, but ultimately you're going to have whatever you're engaging in your crosshairs, so it should be between those 2 bars. But I'm sure that's something that's going to frustrate some people, because I can just envision us rotating up and over and then looking right down the middle of that. But again, it's a mini hauler. It's not a mini combat vessel. So, if you're talking about, kind of like the Freelancer, it struggles with its visibility a little bit because its intended role doesn't require a whole lot of good visibility. But overall, you can see this is what the ship looks like, and it is very sharp. I'm interested to see when this thing actually gets flight ready. I think it's supposed to be in 2.5, and once that is the case, I will actually be doing a review on that. I want to let you guys know that you need to stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing a flight impressions video on the Starfarer soon, as well as a walkthrough on the Gemini. Other than that, I think that's it for now. So if you have questions, put them in the comments. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys later. Take care.